You had it right the first time. This looks so strange. Hi. Oh, what just happened? What just happened? All right, let's see. Customize. No, we got it. We got it. Okay, guys. Hi. Hi.
How's
Am,
everyone doing today?
am I supposed to hear something,
No, you should
honey?
not.
I feel like a professional right now. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Kayla. It's your Nubian Patriot. We're going to see if anyone joins. This is our first time, or my first time, scheduling a live. So,
And it went badly.
yeah, I think I'm about thirty minutes late for the live. Okay. Anywho, let's see. Let's just wait. Let's see. I don't know if when you schedule a live if you're going to see someone hop on or not. Let's see. Okay.
Well, we ended. I ended the scheduled one,
Oh.
so this is just a brand new default
Oh.
new one.
Oh, okay. And I'm not used to going live on my desktop, so this is new for me. I'm normally on my phone. Okay. So, anyways, hello. Good evening. I'm Kayla, your Nubian Patriot, and this is my white privilege.
Hello there. Also known as her oppressor.
My oppressor. So listen, do you know why I call you white privilege? I mean, obviously you're white, but that doesn't mean that you're white privilege. The reason why I call him white privilege is
Is it a
because
flavor of chocolate?
no, that's vanilla.
Oh.
No, stop. Let me just tell you the story. So I was having an issue in my children's school when they were in junior high, and I didn't feel like I was getting anything resolved. And so I went to have lunch with a friend of mine, and she's an amazing woman, very sweet, inside and out, but she's definitely very liberal, and I found that out, especially like during the 2020 elections. And so we're sitting there in the cafe, and we're having lunch, and I'm talking to her about my issues at the school, and so she said, "So what are you gonna do?" I said, "I don't know. I don't feel like they're listening to me." And this is what she said to me. She said, "Well, why don't you take your husband in there and have him use, let me just tell, this is the way she said it. Take your husband in there and have him use his white privilege so that they can listen to you." And I was just like, uh? I didn't even say, I'll tell you who that is a little later. But at that point, I didn't say anything. I just thought, oh, okay. So when you take a white man in somewhere, like things get done. Like, so he's my white privilege. It's like all of a sudden when I see him, my credit score goes up because he's my white privilege. So, anyways, that's why I make the joke and I call him my white privilege. So that's my intro study, my introduction.
Well, did I go in there with you?
You did go into the school.
And did it make a difference?
I don't know. I think it makes a difference when you bring a man in any office or any setting. It's like bringing a man in when you need to negotiate the cost of your tires, depending on the man. Now, hopefully he's an alpha male. If he is, you get things done. And I don't think it has anything to do with whether he's black, white, yellow, green, purple. If you bring a man, the man's going to get things done because a man just commands attention when he walks into the building, provided that he's an alpha male and he's not an effeminate male. And we have a whole lot of those walking around nowadays. So, anyways, let's get to this. The reason why I wanted to do this live was because I've been seeing all over my feeds, private messages, this whole, Trump versus DeSantis, that great debate. What are you seeing? He's not on Facebook or anything like that, but what are you seeing in all of your chat rooms? Are you hearing anything about it as well?
It really, to me, sounds like a bunch of hoo-ha. There's no real information. Uh, Trump said something, and some people took offense to it and are fighting on behalf of DeSantis, but DeSantis doesn't say anything. I recall a while ago that Trump and DeSantis had some sort of thing where someone said something and they thought they were going to be at odds with each other, and it ended up that they were totally cool with each other. So I don't understand why anything has changed. I think this is just another ploy by the left to help divide our party,
Yeah.
which is already badly fragmented. And in a time when we should not be splitting anything, we should only be working together in unity for a common cause. I don't think that this is something that we should even pay attention to or even
Well,
give
let's
any credence to.
before we talk about. Forgive me for
Yeah,
interjecting.
go ahead.
I do this to him often. He hates it, but um, before we talk about what we believe the solution is, let's talk about what exactly is happening, because here's what we know. Trump, has said some things that are rude. He said Ron DeSanctimonious. He called him an average governor. I don't know if you heard about this, honey, but I read somewhere that Trump said that the only reason why DeSantis won his election was because of something that he did with the ballots. And so they're saying, the lefties are, yeah. You didn't hear about that, did you?
Well, no.
So
but, anything on the internet is
no.
to be taken with a grain of salt.
It was a live interview, and I heard a sound bite, and about Trump saying something about you wouldn't have won, had I not fixed. I forgot how he said it, but what they're implying is that he somehow fixed the Florida election so that, or they stopped counting ballots so that DeSantis can win. I don't know if there's any truth to that. And I do believe that, Trump helped DeSantis. But here's the thing. What I believe is happening is exactly what my husband said. This is definitely something that the left is, they're causing this feud. If you think about what's happening, Trump said that he was going to announce something big November 15th. And he said he didn't want to announce it, prior to the elections to distract from the elections. We know that Elon Musk, took over Twitter, and he was supposed to reinstate Trump's account. And he had the largest reach on Twitter.
Maybe.
Well, at that point he did.
No, what I mean is maybe he's going to be reinstated on Twitter. We don't know yet.
We don't know what's going to happen. But this is what I believe, and you can just tell me what you think. But I believe that they understand that Trump is a threat. They've always understood that Trump is a threat. I'm seeing all over my feed people saying, well, I'm for DeSantis. Well, I'm for Trump. Guys, I am still for Trump. And I also love DeSantis. But DeSantis is not saying anything. And I believe that he's not saying anything because he understands exactly what the media is trying to do. Because just within the blink of an eye, social media is blowing up and we're all talking about the same thing. Do you guys notice that? It's just like this just massive mind control. And we're all like participating. Look, I'm doing it now.
All we are
I'm doing it now.
Are a bunch of squirrels, or not squirrels, a bunch of dogs that are seeing squirrels. You know that.
I thought you were going to say squirrels trying to get a nut.
No. No, that Disney movie or whatever it was, and the guy, Home.
Oh, Ice Age.
Or not Home. Up.
Ice Age.
Up. Remember
but
the guy?
Ice Age,
the dogs
squirrel.
had the dogs had their translators on their neck, and then they would
squirrel.
Yeah. Right? And that's our party right now, right? Every time something happens, we're like, squirrel, right? I mean, we had a big discussion about the integrity of the elections, and then suddenly Ukraine happens, right? Oh, and then everybody forgets all about the elections, and then, then there's the next thing, and then the midterms, and now this Trump thing. And
Roe v. Wade, the leak.
Roe v. Wade, the all this stuff is just everybody's focusing on all these other things, when the real big thing is that we should really be focusing on is, one, uniting as a party, and two, keeping our focus on the most important issues. I mean, who cares if DeSantis runs against Trump?
You're so sweet and so diplomatic.
Oh, sure. It's not. I mean,
He's
you
so
vote
sweet.
for whoever you vote for.
That's true.
But it doesn't really matter if we don't
doesn't.
trust our elections. Well, who cares who runs, right?
And think about that. Think about that for a second.
The only ones that are going to win are going to be the ones that, well, if we all believe in the election integrity issues that are going on, then the only people who are going to win are going to be the people that shouldn't be there.
And they have won. They have control over Congress right now. So we're looking at some of these races. And again, we're all talking about Trump versus DeSantis. But what we're not talking about is that there was no huge red wave. Everyone's calling it a red ripple. I think someone said that it was like a red sprinkle. But what we're seeing right now is that they took control. How did that happen? How are we up in Republican registrations? How do you get, like in Nevada, a quote unquote, I mean, he's quasi, but a Republican governor, but Castro or whatever, Cortez, and she won, and she's a Democrat. So why aren't the same people voting for these Congress seats? And so something is really funky. Yet, of course, the conversation shifts. And here we are again, chasing our tails. And it's just like they say something and, like you said, squirrel. And that's what's happening right now. So I want to talk about something. And just realistically, honey, Do you believe that Trump is going to run in 2024?
I think it's a strong possibility,
And if he
but
does,
but if he does not, I imagine he would recommend somebody in his stead, and then work with that person. I think. But however, Trump has been known. He wrote a book and he's talked about all of his business ventures. And one thing he does not like to do is he does not like to quit, especially
no.
when he's been punched in the nose. So
Mm-hmm.
in my personal opinion, I do believe that Trump is going to run again.
Yeah, and you know what? And I was talking about with my husband, okay, well, if let's just say DeSantis decided to run, which I don't believe he will. He said at one point that he was not interested in doing that, and which again, so that's just the media lying to you all. I don't believe it's going to happen. But if it does, who would you choose? Trump or DeSantis?
I'll still vote for Trump.
I would too. Why would you vote for Trump?
Uh, I, I, frankly, I just believe that he's going to deliver the things that he said he was going to deliver. I don't have any doubt in DeSantis. But the other thing that we have to really consider is that if both of them did run, in fact, the vote, the party would be split. But a lot of people know DeSantis from the media and from his own state.
Yeah.
But nationwide, we really don't know him,
No.
right? We
Yeah.
do have experience with Trump and what he's done, and I believe that nationwide you'll see more votes for Trump anyway.
Yeah.
I think that the smarter, more clever thing to do would be to have Trump run again, and then in the next 4-year cycle have DeSantis run later.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing people say, hey, you know what? In Florida, they get 2 terms as governor anyway. Let DeSantis run after that. And listen, I'm all about if you want to run, you can run. However, for all of you out there who are saying DeSantis, Trump is attacking DeSantis. I swear to you guys, if you just put Trump attacks into Google, you'll see the rest filled out for you, and you'll see all of the same talking points on all of the mainstream media because that's what they do. Trump is attacking DeSantis for no reason. Trump is attacking, what are you doing, honey? The light's going to fall. Trump is attacking Candace Owens, and now Candace Owens did a show and she's talking about how Trump was rude to her. Who cares? Trump is very rude. We know that. Trump is very abrasive. Why are we talking about it now? And this is why I believe that the media, mainstream media, they're up to their shenanigans again. Because why is Candace Owens, a black conservative influencer, talking about Trump now? Why is she turning on Trump and talking about how rude he is? Who cares that Trump is rude? We all know that the guy is rude, but we also know that he's about his business and he gets things done. I'm not going to tell you that I'm a forever Trumper. I'm not happy with some of the things that he did, but you know what? Our country was great. I know that Jesus is my savior, and I don't look for a savior in politics. But I did say something on my post, and we talked about this, that Trump does have a settle to score. Should he get into politics?
settle.
I mean, score, yeah, settle to score, a score to settle. That's why you're here, because mommy brain is kicking in. But he does have a score to settle. Should he get into politics just for that? No. He loves our country. He doesn't need to do this. He's put himself out there, but more important, patriots, to all of you guys who are picking sides right now, the 2020 election was stolen. And if you believe that the 2020 election was stolen, you as a patriot should want to see justice prevail. How is it not just if this man was cheated out of a second term, and you patriots said that you elected him, that this president in office is an illegitimate president? Look what he did to our country in a short amount of time. So if you believe that we are dealing with an illegitimate president, then you believe that Donald J. Trump, should still be your president. Why are you bailing on him now? That's my question for you. Is there anything else that you wanted to add to that?
Patriots, stay focused. Don't let the media do what they're doing. Remember, the Satan, the father of lies, is also the king of deception, and also he is a master at dividing people. If you look at the church and how many different parts of the church there are and how many different directions the church has gone, you can see the effects that he has done to the church in the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Imagine how easy it is for him to dissect this country in 200 years, 250 years, or since 1776. I mean, we were doing good for a while, but you can see in the last 30 years there's been so much division to the point where now it's you see the animosity um, and the riots and the murders and all sorts of anger and emotion going on both sides. And what we all left, right, conservative, liberal, Democrat, or Republican, what we really have to ask ourselves, and I've heard the other side admit that there are things that they have seen in the last election that just didn't make sense, or I mean, you could just call it what it is, shenanigans of some sort.
Yeah.
You may not believe that it was fraud.
Yeah.
You may not believe that it was widespread fraud. You may not believe that there is a conspiracy where it all goes together.
Right.
But you realize that something wasn't right. And I mean, I even heard some. I've talked to a few people where they simply have just said, "Oh, I know something happened."
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that Trump's out, and that's all that matters.
Right,
and
that's
what
true.
we really all of us as Americans have to understand, that is the most dangerous line of thinking.
Yeah.
All right. Who we think should be in office is not the same thing as who how our system's designed to get a person into office.
Yeah.
If we had just a simple who is cooler or who is my favorite at this time or whatever, instead of really ascertaining who is good for the country and who is not good for the country, then we have a real big problem, right?
You're so calm. Just listening to you talk, I just feel like you're just really calm.
Well, it's a real big deal.
You bring so much balance to me. I'm just like,
our country. We think about, oh, we're a really great country, but what's really important. I mean, we go out and we help other countries. We help our own borders. We're at the forefront of green technology. We do a lot of things that are very forward-thinking and progressive. At the same time, we have a lot of values that are held true to us and through the conservative side.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are two sides of a coin, right? And we really need to get through on that part, right? And so DeSantis and Trump, they may or may not actually be going through this, but what's really happening is just yet another divide and conquer by Satan.
That's exactly what they're doing, because I believe that they're trying to split these patriots in two.
Well, it's not just patriots,
Well,
but it's also the other side.
Just
it's
all
giving
Americans.
them more ammo
All
to
Americans.
help fight and divide us as a group.
I mean, because look at, we talk about, Fetterman. And I know that the picture. Listen, okay, I'm going to be, you know what? He's a stroke victim. Bless his heart. It's very sad. What happened to him.
It's not that a stroke victim can't.
Yeah, right.
It's just that he recently had this problem.
And then I didn't, Dr. Oz, I have issues with Dr. Oz, okay? Because I think he's a flip-flopper. He's a poser, but obviously, I guess he was the best person for this. But you look at that Fetterman. You said that he showed up to the inauguration.
Oh, yeah, the picture, I don't know. I don't know how true it is. But
I saw the picture with the hoodies. They all had
a
hoodies
hoodie, and then him and his family showed up in hoodies and pretty casual things. And I tremble a little bit. It doesn't matter what your station in life is you always you talk about Sunday best, right? I would hope that they would have just blue jeans.
But every time he was on the campaign trail, he had a hoodie on. He's like, "What's up? I got my hoodie on."
I guess
like he's a brother.
America is a melting pot, right? But I still feel that at least for that one ceremony, everybody should have been pretty dressed up.
Okay, so pardon me. I mean, do you think
once again, picture on the internet? I don't know how true it is. I wasn't there.
We don't know, but this is what. But it's just sad because you look at that's that he's going to be in Congress. He's going to be making decisions for the country, representing his state, of course, but he's going to be making decisions for the country. Joe Biden, I mean, he is, I don't even want to say, he's our president? Are you kidding me? What? I mean, at this point, what was the Constitution even written for? What are we doing?
Again,
what are we doing?
That's why we need to go back to what's really happening. Is you see the media is still doing their thing. And Satan is running the media at this point.
They are.
I mean, if you just listen to some of the hate-filled rhetoric that you can come with at just any one of the news stations, the hate-filled rhetoric that you see on the lefty
You're so handsome.
TV shows and whatnot. Love you too, baby.
You're handsome.
You'll see what I mean. I For a long time that all we heard was tolerance, 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 and I'll tell you, I was a very tolerant person. I was very moderate. Came from Austin, Texas, I was friends with all
I was the
sorts
big
of
righty,
people,
by the way.
right? And it wasn't, there's a meme where from Elon Musk, where he shows himself where he was, and it has like a scale of left
Right.
to right, and it has Elon a little bit to the left of the mid mark, right? But then you see the left guy keeps going further and further away from where Elon's standing, and the center point for the scale keeps
Yeah.
shifting, and so now Elon is like almost a righty,
Yeah.
right? A full righty, and I can really sympathize with that because, in Austin, we had this whole, keep Austin weird.
That was too weird.
I mean, one of my best friends when I was growing up ended up being a transgender person, and I had no problems, right? I had gay friends. I had, obviously I'm married to my black wife.
I'm not black.
Oh, okay.
I identify as a white woman.
I'm sure you do. Right? And I identify as an attack helicopter. You may call me Apache.
Where'd you get that from?
I don't know. It was a
You're
meme.
a dork.
It's just a meme.
Okay,
Anyway,
go ahead.
So I had no problems with any of this stuff. And then as we have gone in the last 3 years, a lot of my opinions, I mean, there's been some that have become a little bit more solidified. I'm no longer laissez-faire as I used to be. But now I still have some pretty moderate opinions about things, but they're so far conservative compared to where everyone else is right now. Now I'm in the same boat as that meme that Elon posted.
So let me ask you something, because you just started talking about this, being moderate, or, being on the left or the right. What I'm also hearing as a talking point is that Trump is so divisive and he's just too extreme. And so what I'm seeing now, and with the mainstream media, is that everyone's talking about there's too much extremism on both sides. And we need people who will unite this country because there's just too much extremism. What do you say about that?
I think that's a bunch of poo.
Okay, tell me why. What is extremism to you?
Well, so first of all, America is not it is not lukewarm. There's nothing that says America has to be lukewarm. There's nothing that says our office holders have to be lukewarm. As a matter of fact, it's the only reason our country works the way it does is because we aren't all the same tepid flavor of water.
Right.
Right. Sometimes we're more left, sometimes we're more right, sometimes there are more people who are more extreme or not so extreme. Sometimes we need the extreme people to understand why, where we need to be in the middle. Sometimes we need people on the other end, so we understand why there's another viewpoint. If everybody had the exact same viewpoint all the time, then America wouldn't really be what it is today, for a number of reasons. But anyway, so to really answer your question, does Trump need to be less extreme, or do we need to get someone else in office who is a
right? They're saying
a
DeSantis is
liaison
going to
or
unite the
middle maker?
party, right?
Well, I don't know about you. I don't think DeSantis has done a lot of mediating, right? I mean, we just look at the Martha's Vineyard thing. That was certainly not a mediating effort,
My
right?
goodness.
And honestly,
it's
I'm
like
glad
we're living
that's actually a pretty extreme maneuver if you really think about it. And so why would we say something like that? I think we're really just once again trying to attack Trump's character. And this and I'll take it from the internet, the Trump derangement system.
Syndrome. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy,
Yeah.
right? If you really look at the things that Trump has done in office, they talk about he's a total bigot and anti-gay person, and then you actually look at the people he appointed in office.
I know.
None of it's true.
Yeah.
Right?
It was not true.
If you go through the people he worked with,
He had a
it's
homosexual
not true.
person in his his
Right.
cabinet.
It's not just one.
Not one. Yeah.
And it's not just like he had like a token black guy and a token gay guy. And he was
No,
like,
they
"I'm
weren't. They were not tokens at all. He just thought they could do the job, and he didn't
went
care
by the
about
job thing.
right.
And I think that's
Right.
important to really understand is that we need to have a country, and I don't care what you think, but some of the people that have been appointed or put into office under the
Sleepy,
Biden,
creepy, Joe,
whatever you want to
slow
call it,
Joe,
under Biden rule, that you
Goodness.
have that some of these people are certainly not qualified to do the job,
No.
and some of them are not putting their priority of the country over what else is going on. There's several people that have done some things that I found absolutely deplorable, are not paying attention to their job, and are not running our country that needs to happen. So what we need to really work on, what Trump was doing is he was getting the people that were doing the right job, and when they weren't doing the right job, he fired them.
Right.
Right, and it was just that simple. They didn't do what he wanted, boom, they're gone. That's how appointments work, right?
Right.
You don't keep someone in office that sucks at their job. You don't keep someone at your workplace who sucks at their job. I mean, I've been at work. We've hired people and we fired people, right?
Right.
They don't do their job. They disobey the rules. They're gone, right? Now elected officials, that's a whole different ballgame. But then that means the people, or they're held accountable by the people, and that's why we have recalls, right? And so there's systems in place to allow all the stuff to work, and it really shouldn't be about color. It
No.
really shouldn't be about orientation.
No.
It really shouldn't be about history. Really,
Yeah.
it only should be about one thing. Well, I mean, history in terms of, where have you been, or like who
Right.
you've associated with. What I mean is the history that you should be judged for is the experience you have at the job you're doing, or at least the experience of the people that you've ran into, in terms of how do you handle those people, how do you handle those situations, are you a good mediator, are
Well,
you a
that's the
good,
way. That's the way
a
it should
good,
be, but that's
good
not the way that it
salesman,
is.
whatever, a good,
No.
not mediator, oh my goodness, ambassador, are you a
You
good
don't. You don't.
ambassador?
You don't have daddy brain, do you?
No,
You
no,
didn't
no.
have a baby, did you?
Anyway,
Can
so
men have babies?
let's go back to where
You didn't answer my question.
which is
Can men have babies?
not that I'm aware of. You know what? I'm not gonna answer that question. I'm gonna let somebody else answer that question. There's a guy that if you watch Star Trek the original series, Sulu was the character's name. And what was the actor's?
You're a big
Who's the
Trekkie.
actor?
Which one?
Oh my goodness, that
You're the Trekkie. I'm not.
Sulu's anyway. So he responded to somebody says, "Oh, I don't understand why men can't have babies," and he was holding up a sign that says, "Brad and I have been trying for 26 years, nada." From a gay guy, can't have babies. It doesn't work.
Is he gay?
Oh yeah, he's totally gay.
Okay.
Yeah, very gay.
What is very? I think you're just gay or
Just-
gay. Okay. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
okay, how about this? Flamboyantly gay.
Oh,
Obviously
okay.
gay,
Okay.
Proudly gay.
Proudly gay. All right. You're so cute.
Anyway.
Anyways, I think that's really all I wanted to talk about was the whole Trump versus DeSantis. There is no feud going on. It's made up in the media's mind.
And even if there is, who cares?
And even if there was, who cares?
Let's focus on what's important.
That's right. And DeSantis hasn't responded to any of this because he understands its foolishness and he understands the plan. I believe, call it a conspiracy, that maybe Trump and DeSantis, they knew this was going to happen and they have something planned, that they are working together.
You've heard the term before, 4D chess.
Yes.
Trump is always doing 4D
He's
chess.
smart, guys. I mean, he may go crazy on Twitter in the middle of the night and he's always tweeting, but the guy is sharp. Don't get that confused. The guy is sharp. He's not the savior. He did a lot for our country. You know what the number one problem was when Trump was in office? It was us. He set us up for success. We failed because we were hoping and praying that he did everything. We were always saying, trust the plan. Let's wait. Trust the plan.
Well, Trump never said that.
Well, no, but you know all the little communities. You know which
The
ones I'm
whole,
talking-
yeah, the Q
All
folks.
the- yeah.
The Q
Not
folks
just-
were the ones saying trust the
Not
plan.
just the Q folks. A lot of people kept saying Trump is going to do this and Trump is going to do that,
But
and
that
wait
was
for
never-
Trump.
That was never
you know,
Trump.
Trump.
That was the people.
No, because he was challenging the election.
Well, he was saying.
Okay,
Trust
anyway.
the system.
Okay.
Allow
Let's
the
just
system.
move
He
on.
wasn't trying to tell people, trying to be violent or any of that junk. He was just saying, peacefully protest, do what you're supposed
Well, yeah,
to do.
he was calling patriots to exactly. He wasn't calling them to be violent, but he was calling us to get more involved, to become more involved. And it was because of his presidency that we all woke up. We're not woke, but we're awake. That's what happened. And if Trump wasn't in office, things would be a lot different right now. A lot of people are awake because of Trump. And again, he's not the savior. Jesus is the savior.
Stay strong. Don't be discouraged by
Yeah.
these elections. I think we're going to see a lot of things still change. Stay strong. Don't be discouraged. I say it again.
You want to end the live now? Is that like the cue?
It is the Q.
Not the Q.
Well,
Not the Q.
let's end it at 30 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Anyways, guys, I'm Nubian Patriot. I'm Kayla. This is my white privilege. We'll talk to you guys soon. I hope you guys enjoy this live. Leave me some comments and follow me.